Pikachu, the microphone was on mute the entire time. Pikachu, I give you the controls. You beg me over and over again, let you host the show for at least a couple of minutes. I give you the cold opening, and there you couldn't even put the bloody thing on. Hello, everybody out there in TV land. It's time for the Super Sully Sunday stream. That's all right. Yes, I was in the kitchen. Something was finishing up cooking. And hello out there. Hello, AL. Good to see you. Yes, Pikachu was hosting the show, and we're right here. Hello. Yes, that was a gag opening, wasn't it? Yes, it was at the gas. Oh, what a silly head you are. You're so silly, Billy, you dork. Oh. How are you? Welcome to the Super Sully Sunday stream, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, here on the Reverend Sully channel that you should and could and maybe will be subscribed to. Are you new to the channel? Give us a chance. Subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Ring that bell. Smash that like button. Leave a comment and hit the share button. Any and all of these actions help the algorithm suggest our little program to fellow geeks out there in the world that may need to hear, some comic book stuff. We have comic book talk today. We did Samurai Saturday again yesterday, so we'll recap. We're gonna do a loving recap of a samurai movie as well. Hey, Adam Frey, what's up? Bet you were happy yesterday. Perch was on Thinking Critical. The Comics Aficionados. It's raining here in Texas. Very hot and humid. Yeah, it's a bit of a humid day here in Boston, Massachusetts. North America, USA, North America, planet Earth, third stone from the sun, solar system, outer spiral arm, Milky Way galaxy, local group, Virgo cluster, Laniakea supercluster, now in universe, and maybe just a tile in the yet to be fathomed, yet to be plumbed, yet to be measured, yet to be realized multiverse of all possibilities. Hello, everyone out there. Yeah, I was cooking bacon for my breakfast, and also I save my bacon fat. I do, and I keep it in the freezer, like I'll ever use it, but I have it just in case. You never know. Make my own biscuits. I can. I'm a chef. I get recipes for everything up here. Techniques, ratios, kitchen math. How is everyone? I just had brunch with bacon. Ooh, very nice. And Ale says that she went to a Michelin star barbecue in Houston. She is at Anime Matsuri. Yeah, I would use it for to make roux, sauce and soup thickener, gravy thickener. I would use it as my lipid in making biscuits as well. And Adam just saw Superman. Guess what? I did not see Superman. I didn't. I got spoiled rotten because I'm a denizen of Twitter X. And of course, you can't go 5 feet without somebody spoiling the heck out of anything. It was the one thing. It was the first hurdle in my lack of enjoyment in The Walking Dead TV show. And it was Mondays. And you couldn't, it was just spoiler central. I was a big fan of Walking Dead, the comic book. So, and I kind of watched Walking Dead, the show. I only got up, I think, the end of season 3, maybe season 4, when they were all in the same boxcar and they end up at Terminus, wherever the hell that is, because that ain't in the book. But, yeah. That's about it. So, yeah, I've been spoiled rotten on Superman. And remember, this is the Super Ohm. Super Ohm. Super Ohm. This is my Superman style. This is the logo of the channel. I drew this That's a stylized Om, the holy syllable Om. And I put that with Superman's distinctive diamond look and a stylized Om. So, like, wow, that's what I'm talking about. That's my brand. I drew it myself too. So it looks roughly hewn, almost as if a child drew it with crayons. It was meant to evoke them. I went there. I was doing that. I was artistic. Oh, K-pop, that's Korean pop music. Is it? Or is it a cultural movement? Like, I'm seriously, I mean, I don't know anything about this stuff. I know there's manhwa, which is not manga, it's the Korean manga, and they have their own distinct style, but it's very similar. It's just like, Asian people are not a monoculture. There is a lot of distinct cultures. And it's interesting because as being, a white man from America, and I'm also a professional chef, so I have to know how to prepare and cook, a diaspora of cultural things. Hey, James, how's it going? Good to see you. We've been hearing actually good things, mostly very, very good things about Superman, but I'm with AL on this one. I am waiting for streaming. That's about it. That's the maybe Doc will have an advanced copy he can put on his server. He's got this thing called Docbusters. It's a play on the word Blockbuster, the old video rental, chain store from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. We would actually go to a store, and we would rent video cassettes and eventually DVDs, and also Sega Genesis, SNES, and PlayStation games as well, and Xbox games. I've never even played it. No, correction. I think I played an Xbox once, but I am a PlayStation kind of guy. So I have literally like 35 years of muscle memory on the PlayStation DualShock controller that hasn't changed its configuration in all that time. So it's like I pick up an Xbox controller and I'm like all mumble thumbs. I'm like, I don't know which way is up, And it should be. Oh yeah, and it'll be available to rent and to buy, and maybe there'll be an extended cut too. You never know. And it's one thing. Actually, here's something I just found out about. As John Lennon said. And did I already say hello, James? Good to see you. If I didn't say that already, let's see. Let's look. Just 1 second. Just chilling out with the music. I hope Pikachu you got to be thrilled by Pikachu's ramblings and inner thoughts as he finally had a chance to host the show. Little did he know that he had the microphone was on mute. It happens to me too. Live and learn. Seriously, how many times have you just? I remember when I used to do the pre-recorded daily show. Remember the Golden HTC Comics 365 days, and you shoot you're 20 minutes into your episode, and then you look up, you see your microphone, and it's a blinking red light. Steady red light means you're hot. The blinking red light means you're on mute. That's happened to me several times. It will happen again. It is it's a YouTuber's thing. Well, good to see you, Ale. Thank you so much for spending time with me and my Pikachu. So I hope that you and your Pikachu and all of your family have a great time in Houston, and maybe next, I want a full update. I want a dossier. I want to know all about this Michelin star barbecue in Houston. Tell me all about it if you can. I would love to know. I want to know what you got, how it tasted, what was the price point, if you don't mind me asking, and stuff like that. I do love restaurants, and I love menus, and I love food preparations, techniques, presentation, quality of meats and veggies. There's just so much of a. You have a good week too. Thank you so very much. Enjoy your time in Texas. Yeah. I was supposed to have been on the second hour of Comics Aficionados because hey Jay, hey, good to see you. It was I was no Wes overbooked, and he was like, hey, do you mind riding Pine? That be on the bench. You know what I mean? That's not like that's not a hanky dinky hanky panky thing. Riding Pine. If your mind went there, I can only hey, settle down. No. Seriously, we had Perch on as a special guest star, and he was going to leave. Like he had something. He was only supposed to be there, I guess, the first hour or so. But he got more time to spend with us, so he took all the time, and that was fine. I'll see you next week. That's that. But it was like, yeah, sure, I have no problem. Plus, I didn't see the movie. What you see in the title of the show is a Superman anti-review with spoilers. How can I review a movie I did not even see? I'll review a movie that I saw. It's called Kagemusha. It is an Akira Kurosawa samurai movie made in 1980, one of his few movies made in color. And it's wonderful. And I'll get there because I'm doing I'm trying to get back to doing Samurai Saturdays. And that means on Saturdays after Wes's show, over lunch or so, just the International Film Channel, the IFC, and the Criterion Channel too, I believe Criterion Channel, but there's a tradition of the Samurai Saturday show where they would show different samurai movies every Saturday. And that's that. And I've got so many samurai movies. You really enjoyed the Superman movie, and did Kiddo enjoy the Super movie too? I want to see it, but I've been spoiled on it, rotten. I mean, there is no surprises. I guess that's fine. I guess I'd be going to see it for the performances from the ensemble. I really want to check out the dog. The dog melted my heart. Crypto's whole. It was the second teaser, and it was the 1 minute extended teaser, so it had more Crypto, and I just thought he was just melted my heart, and I loved it. I love dogs. But I heard about Supergirl. I heard about her kicking Clark in the balls or kneeing him in the nuts, and that's just such a fucking douchebag feminist fucking modern Hollywood thing. It's got to go. I mean, it's awful. It's not even because I have balls, and being kicked in the balls is not a pleasant experience one bit. But it's one of these things, it's so overdone. It's everywhere in movies. It's like, oh, wow, you're the strong, stunning, brave girl. Okay, you kick someone in their balls. They can't hit you back, though, because you're a girl. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Oh, she had bitch energy, man. She was so, I heard Supergirl was so brat. Oh, fucking lose me with that shit. Kara Zor-El's a really nice girl. But this is the multiverse. Okay? I know. He hasn't seen it yet. A local theater will do sensory-friendly showings in a couple of weeks. I will take him then. Oh, that's so cool. That is cool that they do stuff like that. That's really nice. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about China. I love China. I love Chinese food. I have Chinese neighbors. I'm going to learn a little bit of Chinese. And I'm not saying that to be, oh, wow, we can see your DM, Sully. Woo! Hide that. All right. Well, would you look at the numbers from China from opening weekend of Superman? The worldwide debut is at $217 million, which is pretty good. I don't know how much it cost. I'm not one of these fanboys that get caught up in money and numbers. And sometimes the numbers, they don't lie. And and there's something to be proud of sometimes too. Like 2019, A24 Cinema. That was my first time seeing Ari Aster's Midsummer. I saw it last year, I think, like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah. For the first time, and it bowled me over. It was such a good movie, and I was impressed that this movie was made for $9 million, and it had such great practical special effects. It was a horror movie. It had CGI effects. It had sets. It had set design. It had costumes. It had location. It had great young actors. It was a really good movie, and it was made for $9 million, and it had a $40 million box office at its initial release. That is a resounding success for a movie. Now, when we can start to inflate things like, oh, this cost $300 million to create, it's going to need $1 billion, and now we're in the days of the $1 billion movie. And I kind of predicted that this could be a $2 billion movie. I mean, maybe some of that political jargoning in the week leading up to its release, maybe that kind of soured me on it too. And also, I heard James Gunn was misquoted by Variety magazine. And but it's so polarizing with the immigrant, refugee, adopted home debate thing, and using Superman at this time, and it's so off-putting. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want that in my escapism. I didn't want my escapism on the rocks or with ice. That was a pun. Remember, this show contains satire and can be problematic. He was misquoted. Yeah. Aw. I saw her more as a pitiful drunk, which, given her world blew up, makes sense. Like Argo City or Krypton. And she'll have her own movie coming out this time next year too. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, with the screen based on the Tom King Black Label trade paperback you can get. Which I hear, if you know the story of True Grit and Rooster Cogburn, then you know the story of Tom King's Supergirl, the Woman of Tomorrow. I heard it's a sci-fi Supergirl remake, which you can do that. Like I'm saying, Kurosawa used to do Shakespeare movies. He did at least 3, and he did them in steeped in Japanese culture. 2 of them at least in samurai. Ron, which is King Lear, and Throne of Blood, which is Macbeth. You know what I mean? Fascinating movies, and they're set in samurai times too. I'm not interested in a Tom King story. Will be a skip for me, indeed. But yes. Let's see if I can get a bit bigger. Here we go. The worldwide debut of Superman was $217 million. Domestic debut was $122 million. Its Chinese debut was $6.6 million American Yankee dollars. Wow! Ain't that something? The big Chinese market, what Hollywood's been after, chasing their tail, cozying up to the CCP, having, thanks to Mulan and their credits, where there's an Iger, I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube, but a non-consensual living arrangement for the Igers. That's what the rumor is. And why? Because they're like very Eastern Chinese, bordering on the steppes, and they're of Muslim. They're Islamic people, and religion's a no-go with CCP. But you annexed all this land and all this indigenous population. What are you going to do with them? Well, I don't know. See, that is a debate for better minds and a different show. Maybe Apolitically Incorrect Friday. That would be a good one. But I mean, would you look at those Chinese debut totals? And James Gunn could not have fit Ryan Choi, the Atom, into the Justice Gang. Come on, he's the Atom. It wasn't a short joke, and it wasn't a stereotypical joke. No, the Atom, he's like the Ant-Man of the DCU, but a lot smarter. Well, I mean, Ray Palmer was kind of like I wonder who came first. Was it Ray Palmer, the Atom? Or was it Dr. Hank Pym, the Ant-Man? Wow. Let's look that up real quick. Ant-Man. Hank Pym debuted when? We're looking at this from the wiki! Tales to Astonish, number 27, cover date of January 1962. And now, Ray Palmer, Atom. Because Ryan Choi, Atom, he debuted not in the New 52, in Infinite Crisis, right? Let's see, I can look that up real quick. Going to, because you had Al Pratt in the Golden Age. Before that, Ray Palmer and Showcase number 34 in October of 1961. So he beat. So Ray Palmer debuted before Hank Pym by several months. And it was DCU's Brave New World 2006, the countdown to Infinite Crisis. Yes, I remember this. Or was it the Aftermath? Or was it the 1 year later special? Yes, Adam is first. I love looking stuff up. This is the great comic book shop style conversation that we all come here for. But seriously, look at those Chinese numbers. I mean, you couldn't have fit Ryan Choi. Now, Ryan Choi, I believe, is Korean because he was based after Jim Lee, the Jim Lee. What are you talking about, Jim Lee? Yes, Jim Lee. He emigrated to the United States following, let's see, publication history, a fictional history. No, he was born in Hong Kong. Okay, so that makes him, well, he was born in Hong Kong, but in 2006, he would have been born in Hong Kong in like the 1980s or maybe the late 1970s when Hong Kong was part of the British Commonwealth. The UK was part of the United Kingdom. Hong Kong went back to China in 1996. What? 97? Yeah. Oh wow. So this is interesting, huh? Okay, so Ryan Choi is Chinese. He's just as Chinese as any of the Taiwanese, and oh, that's so cool. All right, so yeah, you definitely could have had Ray Palmer. You could have had Ryan Choi in the Justice Gang, and maybe would have had a little bit a draw for that Chinese market. And you know what? Also, too, Ram V has recently done a revamp of Swamp Thing, and this happened. Swamp Thing comics, Swamp Thing comic book character. Yeah, so Ram V did his thing, and his name's Levi Kamai, and he premiered in Infinite Frontier issue number 0, May of 2021, and he's from India. So you couldn't have had the new Swamp Thing in there either, and had someone from the Indian subcontinent representing Hindu people or even Pakistani people. I'm not sure, where he's from. Let's see. Does it say? There's no hot link for it. Okay. Indeed. Everyone is familiar with Soups. That's right. You liked it, didn't you, James? I think I'll probably like it too whenever I get to it. But I think that especially with the Suicide Squad, especially with the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Justice Gang could have probably used a couple of more diverse members front and center. And I heard they weren't in the movie that long either, and we will be reviewing some comic books. We will. But yeah, huh? What was that? $6.6 million for a huge Hollywood movie. The American icon. There's even a Chinese Superman, and he's got a wicked awesome logo. Yeah. I mean, we had a black guy, and we had Michael Holt, the Mr. Terrific, also who had, you know, a golden age, you know, inspiration. Hawk Girl, because Kira Saunders has become a Latina over the years. I don't know if she was originally, and it doesn't matter after all of these, you know, retcons after retcons, and just like, yeah, she's, and and then you had Guy Gardner, and I hear he's like, I'm a Guy Gardner fan, and I hear Nathan Fillion plays him spot on, which I think is cool. And I heard the whole thing about, okay, Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball Z. I 25 years ago, I started watching Dragon Ball Z, half a lifetime ago. And I would watch it on Sunday nights. They were at 11:30 p.m. on the international channel on my cable system. At 11, they had Hey 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 Music Jam, which was a Japanese music variety show with two wacky hosts and no subtitles. And then 11:30 was Dragon Ball Z, though. It was Dragon Ball Z, uncut, unaltered, unedited, in Japanese, no subtitles. Original music, original sound effects, and everything. Love that stuff. I love anime. So at the time, Toonami on the Cartoon Network was first airing Dragon Ball Z and the Funimation dub. You know, they were on the Namek Saga, and on international channel they were showing Cellgan, Trunks. I remember seeing, like, who's the blonde Super Saiyan kid? What the heck is going on here? You know, and it was so cool. But hey, Dwayne Muth, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming by. We're having lunch later. We're having lunch, and we're having tea on the Lido deck at 4:30. So they tinkered with Superman's origin in this movie. So it's kind of hard to dispute and wrangle with being comics accurate to lore, because Superman's origin is changed. So it's retold time after time. That's the train going by. And the windows are open, the ceiling fan is on. It's a humid day here in Boston. Keeping cool by staying cool. So, because we know, well, Goku is kind of like anime Superman. Really, I mean, there's a lot with Goku and Superman that they, you know, their Venn diagram has a nice center, shared center, and it only gets bigger sometimes over retellings of their origin stories. So this has got a point. So, it was June 1938. Action Comics #1, and that was 86 years ago, right? I hate doing math. 4, 8, yeah. Because in 4 years, 3 years, 87 years. It was 87 years ago. So Superman's 87. So over those 87 years, wow, there's a lot of there's a few distinct ages. The Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Copper Age, the Bronze Age, the Copper Age, and this, you know, nebulous Modern Age, since been going on since the Golden Age was from 1938, the premiere of Superman in Action Comics #1, and that went until 1954. The Silver Age is from 1955 until 1970. The Bronze Age is between 1970 and 1983. The Copper Age is between 1983-84 to 1993. That was Image Comics, and that's Vertigo Comics. And we've been in this catch-all, nebulous, undefined modern age of comics ever since 1993 until now. I get these definitions from the glossary of the Overstreet Price Guide. No, it's right. It's right there. You trust me. What's up? The memes of destruction is a key. And so over in every retelling of Superman's story, especially from age to age, there's a little bit, you know, shift. and everything. And then you have things like Superman Birthright. You have things like Infinite Crisis, which kind of try to collapse everything and try to take aspects of each individual age's origin story and make it a one cohesive new story to go forward with. So, I mean, so what does that have to do with the movie? It's about iteration, and it's about this version of Superman and his origin story. How it was about Krypton exploding. It was about the scientist Jor-El and his beautiful wife Lara, and they send their infant son Kal-El in some kind of cosmic wicker basket onto, like, in this Moses story, and so he's the sole survivor, or kind of. There's his cousin Kara Zor-El. There's Crypto the dog. There could be Streaky. There could be Zod. There could be Val-Zod. Val-Zod's such a cool character. I love Val-Zod. I love the design of Earth 2 Superman, New 52 Earth 2 Superman's outfit. So good. Have you memes? Have you seen the Superman movie this weekend, or are you planning on going? And also, anyone out there listening, we might be meeting up at Boston Fan Expo on Saturday, August 9th. I'll be there all day. Exactly. There's a saying. Now, see, okay, memes. He knows that he's got a black belt in DBZ, like I do. So this is great. He's gonna call me. Maybe I can turn you on a thing or two. I don't know. So Superman's sent like usual, but the motivation for Jor-El and Lara is a little changed. Where because he will be a god on this planet with the yellow sunlight, and he will have harems of women, and he can rule this place. And that's like, part of Jor-El's intention and his hope and his dream for Kal-El. Not this like, and that's new. And that's kind of like the Goku origin. Originally, Saiyan babies were used by Frieza for menial tasks. They can be shot to a planet and hatched, and then, like, under the full moon, turn into a giant Uzaru, the giant laser breathing ape, and prep a planet to be bought, sold, and commanded by Frieza. What's up, Mark Howd? Cool. And so it seems like Goku may have had an impact on the Superman origin myth, because I think it was 2018, 2019, in Dragon Ball Super Broly feature release, the new Broly movie that was co-written by Akira Toriyama, because the original Broly movie was not written by Toriyama. Now we have Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Daima, which were written by Toriyama, and now we have arguments in Dragon Ball fandom about what's canon and what isn't canon, and about debunking the 13 feature movies and TV specials that came before 1997. It's like really Disney Star Wars fan mentality. I mean, I just like it's exactly. So Superman and Goku have a lot of the same kind of qualities. Fell to earth as a baby. They were adopted by a kindly human who had the greatest impact. I mean, what is the thing that separates Superman from every other alternate or super with powers is he was being raised on a farm by the Kents in Smallville, Kansas. The farm mentality, the farm paradigm, farm ethics, farm math, farm responsibilities. Salt of the earth working parents, work the soil with your hands, see results. Farm life is so interesting and it's so American. And then Goku, he was raised by his grandfather, Son Gohan. He was a kindly old man, a hermit living in the forest, and found this ill-tempered baby with a monkey tail, and he was so fierce and disagreeable and awful. And then one day he fell and whacked his head, And when the baby recovered, he was the sweetest little plum you've ever seen. Most innocent and charming and kind of naive, but he loved his grandpa. And memes, correct me if I'm wrong. Grandpa Gohan was killed when Goku accidentally turned into a giant Uzaru and got stomped by him. So, ironically, and unbeknownst to Goku, who can't remember, he wouldn't remember anything, as an Uzaru, as a giant ape. As an adult, I think you can, because you can control that kind of stuff. Like Vegeta, when Vegeta became a giant Uzaru, versus in the Saiyans arc, in that first arc there. And Yajirobe cut his tail off. That's like Yajirobe's only heroic act in Dragon Ball Z. Okay, so come full circle, Sully. In Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, we are shown Bardock and Gine. These are Goku's parents, Kakarot's parents. Bardock is his father. There's also a previous TV special, The Legend of Bardock, which is the famous red sash and the scar, and how he stood up to Frieza and King Cold, and all the Saiyans were just exterminated, wiped out. Decimation is the wrong word. That's 1 in 10. I mean, there was a lot more than that. There was only a handful of Saiyans living off-world that survived. It was Kakarot, Vegeta, Nappa, Raditz, maybe the other Prince Vegeta, his little kid brother. And you seriously, the number of Kryptonians and the number of Saiyans might match in the hyper reality of it all, in the metafiction, in the meta, in the multiverse. Think about it. I think. And so in Dragon Ball Super Broly, instead of, because in the original Broly movie, you had Broly's, Saiyan baby capsule next to Kakarot's baby capsule, and they were in gestation chambers waiting to be launched at their planets. So they were about to launch Kakarot's, and Kakarot would not stop crying. He was a colic little baby, and it drove Broly insane. It broke his mind. And so Broly is the legendary Super Saiyan, not Goku. The legendary Super Saiyan is Broly. And so he, even as an infant, he used that power and destroyed everything. And he was only saved by his father and brought to a planet. And then when he hears the word Kakarot, it triggers him. At Broly's trigger word was hearing Kakarot's name. The baby that drove him insane with all this crying. You can't have that in the 21st century because of sensitivity stuff. It will, bad depictions of mental health and all this stuff. So they adjusted Broly's origin story. So they separated that. So now they showed Goku's origin story. They showed Gine, his mother, who's never had a name before either. She got her name in 2016, I believe, and a little publication that Toriyama did called Dragon Ball Minus. And then in 2017, in the Broly movie, had her as a more fleshed out character with Bardock, her mate, her partner, her husband. And then they had Kakarot and the baby pod that they made out of love. And they were shooting him away to save him, to, whatever was coming next, this annihilation of the Saiyans under Frieza. So they did the Jor-El, the Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, Copper Age, Jor-El, and Lara. And Gine, and the Saiyans all have food puns as their names. Kakarot is carrot. Vegeta just means vegetable. Raditz is a radish. Nappa is a cabbage. Broly means broccoli. So Bardock is burdock. It's a root veggie. But Gine, you switch the first two letters and last two letters, you get Nige, which is green onion. And also Gine is also kind of an anglicized, a Latin thing for Gine, gyno. I see a wordplay there. And so now you have this Venn diagram between Goku and Kal-El get even bigger in the center with something like this. So this is a new spin on Kal-El's origin story. Or am I wrong, Dwayne Muth? Is this something that John Byrne did in his Man of Steel in 1986? Because I read World of Krypton. I loved World of Krypton. That was Mike Mignola art. That was fabulous. That was a 4-issue mini. Then after that came World of Smallville. Then after that came World of Metropolis. You had all these kind of tie-in miniseries that kind of escorted John Byrne's Man of Steel into the new post-Crisis on Infinite Earths, mid-1980s. Broly. And also, so there are also underwear references with the Capsule Corporation. Dr. Briefs and Mrs. Briefs. Briefs are underwears. Bulma, Baluma, Baruma. Her name is Baruma. Baruma means bloomer, bloomers, undies, panties. And so trunks, as in like red trunks, Superman's red trunks, as in like swimming, or sports shorts. And then their little sister, Vegeta's and Bulma's daughter, Bora, bra, as in brassiere. So then you have, like, Toriyama had all of these these name puns like everywhere. Like Piccolo was a musical instrument. Like demons had like musical qualities to them too. I hear like Piccolo, Ma Junior, our hero Piccolo was the rebirth of the Demon Piccolo, one of the original Goku's big bads, and that was like after he defeated the Red Ribbon Army too. And so Ma means demon, and it's also the Piccolo. It had some. It was something that, because it's a woodwind, and then the other demons, along with the Majin. This is Majin, like as in Majin Buu, yeah, Dabura. Like Abra, there was Bibbidi Bobbidi and Boo. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Now that's just for real. And Dabra, as in Abra Dabra, Kadabra. Magic thing. That was Boo Saga stuff. Sorry, I'm getting that. Like, oh my goodness. I don't think so. I think all the hello, Fear of Monarch. I think didn't Ma Senior, the older, Kami's evil twin brother, Ma, the King Piccolo, didn't his cohorts all have names that associated with like woodwinds and and maybe other Japanese instruments? Like, I would have to look that one up. See, I got my, I got my black belt in Dragon Ball Z, but not just Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was actually just Dragon Ball 42 manga that from the original Dragon Ball itself to the end of the Buu saga, to where Oob is fighting Goku, and they leave it there. The Saiyans all have food names. That's the thing. And so different species, like, and different people have different food name puns. Like the Trunks, the Capsule Corporation family, they're all named after underwear. And then Saiyans are all named after different food stuffs and vegetables, I think. What's the name of the Saiyan girls from the multiverse? And geez, I forget. There's a great meme video where Piccolo is in the background. It's just a pickle in his cape and a hat. That would be Pickle O, right? From Erico to Piccolo. So that's where I go, yo. Let's review some comic books. But yeah, let's wrap up our anti-review of spoilers of Superman. I am not going to see it. I am not going to the theater to see it. I'm not going to contribute to its box office. Will it break 1 billion? Will it? Can it? Should it? Khalifa. That's right. Cauliflower. Yeah. And she was, is she the fusion one? And she's got two different, and the other two names, those are veggies too. The two girls that fused to make, and then there was a third girl too, Kale. Yeah. I'm going to catch up on it when it comes out on streaming. I want to see it. Heck, I even watched all 4 hours of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I got to tell you, I liked it. And I would be interested in watching it in black and white, too. Because, I mean, shooting in black and white, it's not just like a black... I don't know. Maybe, is it lit? Is it color? I mean, is it makeup for black and white? I don't know. I mean, I'd have to check it out. Yeah, Jorel Martin. Yeah, but that was that multiverse. Ah, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, yes, indeed. I'm getting hungry, too. We're having cheeseburgers for supper. Maybe even bacon cheeseburgers. There's all that bacon I was making. I have an Ultra 4K player as well. Oh, geez, guys, gals, and everyone in between. I got drunk the other night. I always say stuff about my sobriety on my gratitude show and how it's a daily thing. It is. But I had 8 beers in my fridge. I had to get rid of them. I drank them all. And it would be bigger, yeah. And people really, the people get behind. That can really change your mind on your enjoyment of the movie. Is like, was the crowd behind it? Was it enough to stir the audience into actually reacting and in a group manner? It's like this domino effect of permissions and consent. If you got a couple of demonstrative people, oohing and ahhing and cheering at the same time, it becomes a social contagion. It does. Yeah, I mean, as long as they stay true, the truest to its, sure, Jor-El could have had that motivation, but it's about the Kent's upbringing, the Kent's raising their adopted son, kindly old couple. They were childless, and then boom, one day, they're given this gift from God, and guess what? It's a little godling too. So it's great. It's a great reflection on the American way matters. The American dream matters. He was raised on a farm in Mark Miller's Red Sun, in an Ukrainian farm, but under communism. And so Mark Miller's Red Sun, Superman Red Sun, is a fascinating iteration of the Superman story because he stays true to his idea. There is a consistency to Kal-El and being raised on a farm, but with Russian culture and a Soviet culture of all things. That might be kind of alien, especially to young readers and young viewers. The Soviet Union culture. What was the Soviet thing about? Now you just know Russia, and Ukraine and Poland, and all the. Everything around there, but what you don't know is the Soviet Union, the Iron Curtain, the Cold War, the arms race, brinksmanship. Interesting. But yeah, Mark Miller's Superman Red Sun, he's still raised with farm values. So there's a farm wisdom that is in Superman. So Mark Miller kept the farm wisdom part. But once you're inculcated and raised in an ideology, it was in socialism, not communism. What's the difference between socialism and communism? Socialism is about the state takes control of all the resources. You know what I mean? And communism is about no borders. That's like the basic, the easiest way to differentiate the two. If you needed to, communism is about like statelessness, borderlessness. Does that sound fucking familiar? Who wants that? That's free politically incorrect Friday. But yeah, I mean, it's about this. I believe it's about the most important part of Superman is the people that raised him, and that is Jonathan and Martha Kent of Smallville, Kansas, about raising him how to, take Shelby with you and go milk those cows. If you know you're Superman, you know exactly what I just said. And then, as a teenager, have these other teenagers show up out of nowhere with fantastic powers And they said they wanted to meet the great Superman, but when he was our age. And so Superman, in his in-between moments, goes and plays in the future with superpowered teenagers his own age. And he gets to cut loose a bit and gets to know how to use his powers safely and doing constructive things too. And then coming back at the same moment that he left. And so this is the only, and he always would be he'd be mind wiped on purpose to prevent him from knowing certain things that could affect the past. Love the Superman story. It's really good. So I will see it. I promise it will happen. It will be at home on streaming, and I have a giant TV, and I love to watch movies on. And let's do Samurai Saturday real quick. Then we're talking about movies. Let's talk about Kagemusha. Kagemusha is written, directed, and art direction by Kagemusha. We don't want to get. Oh, here's the trailer. Oh, hold on one second. Hold your horses, you guys.
In-stock items available for next-day delivery or customized.
I hope I don't get busted for this. It was one of the few movies where Kurosawa could cut loose in
信玄なき武田の軍団が行く。しかし彼らはその死を知らない。おい、妙な噂流れてる。
So the leader of the samurai
ポケマナコ相手しかと見ろ。親方様はあれにござるわ。
was a thief. And the samurai warlord dies. And so the thief, his body double, has to play him in public in order to keep the Takeda family together. Interesting musical choices. All right, I'll stop that now. I'll probably end up getting a copyright strike just for that much. I don't think the Japanese movie people, mess around. The new Ghost of Yokai is going to have a Takashi Miike mode, with closer action and more blood and mud. Thank you. I mean, I thought like, oh shit, yeah. I might have to edit that out later. I might get demonetized for that. I mean, seriously, the Japanese don't fuck around, man. Seriously, shit. And let's see. Kagemusha, yeah. It was Samurai Saturday yesterday. 180 minutes long. I watch it with the commentary track by Stephen Prince. He's an Akira Kurosawa scholar. This is one of 3 of the 26 movies that Akira Kurosawa directed that were made in color. And only 2 that I have ever seen is this and Ron. And I have yet to see Dreams. I should just pick that up sight unseen. And this is famous because Akira Kurosawa was kind of in a fallow, non-productive place. He couldn't get funding. He couldn't get production money from his studios in Japan in the 70s. So he went for like almost a whole decade without doing a movie. I think he did a movie in 1975, but that was like the only movie he made in the 70s, and he was pretty darn prolific in the 50s and 60s. So buttons. So along come George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola, who are disciples to the school of Akira Kurosawa. And they throw in the remaining $2 million that he needed to produce this huge movie. And he gets to shoot in color, because usually he shoots in black and white. And so color, and the thing is that Akira Kurosawa was a painter as well. And to see him play with color palette, with color theory, and how everything was very vividly colored, especially the different troops of the army, of the wind, of the fire, and of the forest. They all had different colors, and different. Like some of them were cavalry with flintlocks, and it was actually one of the. It's based on a real civil war in the late 1500s, like 1573 to 1575. That flintlocks were used en masse and as a tactic and a strategy that really was the precursor to what we'd see about 200 years later in the Revolutionary War and in World War I in 1917. Around then, 1914, 1918. And about trench warfare. It was like kind of like skirmish lines. And so the oncoming, foot soldiers or the oncoming cavalry soldiers charging to the horizon were mowed down by a skirmish line, by a primitive skirmish line. And this is historically accurate too. Embellishments were made in the story. This is a Criterion movie, Criterion collection. They are like one of the tops of the game when it comes to extras, when coming to, getting the best prints, getting the best commentary tracks, supplemental things. There's a 20-minute long mini documentary with Francis, a 19-minute interview piece with George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola, and they discuss their involvement. I have yet to watch the 44-minute piece reconstructing, because there was an 180-minute long Japanese version, and then the international release had several scenes removed for like just time and maybe just not the Western eye, perhaps. And it's so interesting too, because like I was saying, the different samurai outfits, like there were like 4 parts of the Takeda family by Shingen, who was the warlord, and that was like fire. They had red armor. Then it was forest. They had green armor. There was wind, and they had I think blue armor. And then there was mountain, and they had the black armor. And those were the 4 strengths and they were a very powerful clan. But Shingen dies. The warlord dies, and left in his place are his 7 shogunate, his generals, and 1 thief, identical body double, who's passed himself off for 3 years almost. It's a really interesting movie. It's samurai. This is a huge samurai movie. I got to watch it with the commentary track. It is. This is a movie lover's movie. Also, Kurosawa himself, just he did a lot of painting. He did his own storyboards, and what he did was he made paintings of them. See, this is meant to represent the fire, legion, and that perhaps could be the forest legion with the pikes behind them. Just this beautiful booklet that comes with my Blu-ray, and it's just chock full of these things. These are Akira Kurosawa's storyboards. These are just wonderful. There was the opening scene is 6 minutes long, and it's just on 3 people. Shingen himself in the center, with his younger brother, who's almost identical to him, who does play the part of Shingen's double. And then this thief who was just saved from execution that morning, and he was saved because of his uncanny resemblance to Shingen, the warlord. And the famous scene at the end. This is the last shot of the, and this is the banner with the Buddhist motto on there. And here is the storyboard for the skirmish line. They set up the opposing army in the Civil War, made this barricade where you can rest your rifles on, and they fired. They had 3 lines of gunners, and they fired volleys one after the other in threes, and completely wiped out and eliminated the oncoming forces of Shingen's shogunate. And it's a beautiful, beautiful movie. Look at this. He made all this art, and then he made a movie out of it. I mean, oh gosh, I would love to get this and hang it on my wall. That would be so dope. But yeah, all of these extras, all of these mini documentaries. This is great. And this is the experience about being a cinema fan and about liking the best, about liking Criterion movies. I'm a big fan of physical media. Yes, you can't, you own it. It's mine. What did we get this week? And what will we should have Samurai Saturday next week as well. I'm thinking either 3 Samurai Outlaws, maybe The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. That's a good movie. I love that movie. That's in my samurai collection. I've got Yojimbo, Senjuro. I've got the original 47 Ronin. That's a magnificent movie, especially culturally too. And like I said, I'm a big fan of samurai movies. And I got Harakiri, and that's arrived. It could be downstairs right now. But what's in my hands as of this second right here? This week's Funny Books. I got 5 Funny Books this week for my local comic book shop. We're all about supporting our local comic book shop here. Yeah, I mean, it's getting kind of expensive, so I don't know how much longer I want to be buying these books. They are so expensive. I could, seriously, this could be like my the insurance for my condo. If I spend I spend about $100 a month on comic books. That's $1,200 a year, and that could be my insurance payment for the year. I just like, I don't know if I can afford it anymore. So don't be surprised if things change. I will still read them digitally. I'll read them pirated, sure, but I don't know how much longer I can pay these prices, especially because it's like, well, they just accumulate. I mean, I love comic books though. Maybe I should just switch my focus to old comic books. Maybe that's the way to save it. But I got drunk on Friday night, like I said about my sobriety, and I ended up buying like 6 movies. And because Criterion on Amazon Prime, that's the train going by. On Amazon Prime, it was just Prime Day, so there's still a lot of sales going on. There's like almost every Criterion Blu-ray and 4K is 50% off, 50, half off. And I can't say no to some of these things. So I got Eraserhead by David Lynch. I got Lost Highway by David Lynch. I got Blue Velvet by David Lynch. I got Mulholland Drive by David Lynch. 4 movies that I don't have, all Criterion. Wild at Heart. It's out of print, not on Criterion. I will have to settle for a Blu-ray with very few extras. But I'm like, I gotta get Wild at Heart. I got High and Low by Akira Kurosawa. I got Harikiri, which is this interesting samurai movie, probably told by the samurai in flashbacks as he's remembering what, the story on the day of his, the day that he has to commit seppuku. It's a samurai movie. It's pretty famous. What else did I get? How many? What are we up to now? Seriously, how many movies did I get? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. I got 6 movies. All right. 4 David Lynch movies. Yeah, I got Eraserhead too. Where's Eraserhead? I got Eraserhead. No? Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, there is 1. Yeah, 4. And yeah, Harakiri, the Criterion Blu-ray. And for $19.98, it's 50% off the Blu-ray. Following the collapse of his clan, an unemployed samurai, that's Ran's Tatsuya Nakadai, arrives at the manor of Loi Ii, begging to commit ritual suicide on his property. Ii's clansmen, believing the desperate Ronin is merely angling for a new position, try to force him to eviscerate himself, but they have underestimated his beliefs and his personal brand of honor. Winner of the 1963 Cannes Films Festival Special Jury Prize, Harakiri is directed by Masaki Kobayashi, of The Human Condition, is a fierce evocal of individual agency in the face of a corrupt and hypocritical system. 2 hours and 13 minutes long. 1963, black and white. Samurai movies. I love samurai movies. I really do. Oh my goodness. Hello, Captain. Welcome. And it's time to find out what comic books did we read this weekend? What did we buy from our local comic book shop? Talking about movies. Well, this is a movie poster parody cover, and it's wonderful. I love this is a variant cover, so this is the B cover. This is an IDW magazine. You've heard me talk before about Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees by Matthew Horvath, who wrote it and did this wonderful art that evokes the Richard Scarry anthropomorphic childhood books that I grew up on. It has a sequel called Beneath the Trees, Rites of Spring. And look, so this is most definitely, this is the American Psycho parody cover. American Psycho, the Christian Bale movie, adapted from the Bret Easton Ellis book. And a woman directed it too. I mean, yeah. It wasn't Penelope Spears. American Psycho. There's also a sequel to it too. Huh? Who directed it? Oh my goodness. Oh, this is the book. Give me the movie. What are you doing? Film. Oh, thank you. Guinevere Turner. Directed by Mary Harron, who co-wrote the screenplay with Guinevere Turner. Look familiar? Anyone? Bueller? So that's a movie cover. Oh, I see. American Psycho as a prequel to Batman Begins. That's pretty key. I like that. It's interesting. I love the last scene where the secretary is going through his day planner and his penmanship seems to get worse and worse and worse. And it's like, so it's all about the unreliable narrator. It's all about, did this actually happen? Did it happen in his head? Did he like have a stroke or something and he's just been walking around on autopilot for days? Who knows? You have a mental, it's a really interesting movie. And this was pretty good too. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. And it's about the sister of the initial murder victim by the serial killer. A lot of this is about grotesque and about anatomy. Okay, we're gonna see. I don't want to show it because I don't want to you can't even. This is a live stream. I can't even show anything with a GUN because that's like you get in trouble on live streams, but not on pre-recorded videos showing. Now I have to sound like an retarded 16-year-old TikToker. He got unalived at the pew pew. Yeah, that's how literally you have to talk. You have to talk on baby talk on YouTube if you don't want to get demonetized. And remember, the Kagemusha clip might have done it for us. I'll find out. I would have gotten an alert. Let me see. Yeah, we're still rolling. We're still green. Oh, thank goodness. But this is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. Rites of Spring, issue number 1, I believe, of 6. It's the follow-up. So it starts off with the Samantha Strong's first murder victim. Like, you got to think about like shows like Dexter, Showtime's Dexter, where you have a serial killer who is part of the police, I guess, that it profiles serial killers. So he's given himself permission to hunt down and kill the serial killers as a serial killer. And you say killer again, killer. And but it's got the same kind of Richard Scarry kind of art, and just anthropomorphized. It kind of looks like. Do you remember childhood books? But everything's like. It's a story, but in an anthropomorphized world. And she shows up to find out what happened to her brother. The worst book I've read in weeks that I've bought with my money is got to be Green Lantern Corps number 6. Co-written by Jeremy Adams and co-written by Morgan Hampton. And you can totally tell where Morgan Hampton takes the lead. And Jeremy Adams, has to, because they have, they have to write their stories. This is being written by 2 writers. This is most definitely written by the co-writer. You can tell because I'm a Jeremy Adams fan. I mean, let's talk about his other one, Aquaman number 7. Before we talk about Green Lantern Corps, because this is a solid Jeremy Adams story. It is just high adventure. It's high octane. It's kind of also simple too. I think that's a strength of Adams, and that's not a put down. I mean, I would love these. I love these simple stories just told correctly, and just. But let's see. Let's present. Share the screen. Share the screen. Morgan Hampton. She's a lady of color, and this is definitely. And I'm not picking on it because of this. So here's your cover, and we have Sojourner, JoJo Mullen, and we have Jessica Cruz, and so we get 2 women of color here. And here's our JoJo Mullen B cover variant cover, and there's our Jessica Cruz variant cover. That's kind of cute. You know what I mean? I would have got that if I had the choice. $4.99. So that was $1 more. So that's got a cardstock cover. But I don't like cardstock variant covers that are just stapled over an A cover. That's cheap. Here we go. More. Have you figured it out? This is girl forward. This is a very girl forward issue. And I'm just proving everyone on Aficionados right that I'm some kind of misogynist. But no, it's just very it is. Yeah. Thank you, JK. I mean, I think Adams does well writing for the general audience, which I guess is his screenplay background. I agree 100%. General audiences. Now, I'm just saying that this is like a very diverse forward issue of Green Lantern. We got Kelly, the Teen Lantern, Brian Michael Bendis creation. She's kind of like another Brian Michael Bendis creation, Riri Williams, the Ironheart of the Marvel universe. Bendis married a black lady. He's got a black daughter. He wants to put his black daughter in his books. It's important for Brian Michael Bendis to make characters that his daughter can see herself in the story. And you know what? That's a noble goal. I'm not coming down on him for that. I'm not saying anything outragey. I'm not saying anything mean or disrespectful about it. But that's it. Then you have Ellie, who is I believe was invented by, or co-created by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and there was a Jon Stewart book that Johnson recently did, and this is the construct of John's power ring of I think came from another universe. So his mother, Jon Stewart's mom, had dementia and didn't remember that her daughter Ellie died as a kid. So John made a construct with his ring to keep his mom company while he was out on patrol. And so it's like the construct gained an AI kind of thing to it. And when did Sinestro become a Green Lantern again? And then, but you got all this like girl talking moments. There's guys like Guy Gardner's only line of dialogue, I think. Is that a problem, Sinestro? When did Sinestro become? Oh yeah, another girl. I think she's Tamaranian. She's Tamaranian, and yeah, I forgot that happened. And then we have Jessica Cruz and JoJo Mullen, the best detective in the multiverse, go to Mogo to try to fix Mogo, because Mogo doesn't socialize. What we do end up with are the Super Sons, the Sinister Sons. And I can't stand that. Oh gosh, I hated that. But so this. It tries to be cutesy. And maybe I'm wrong about Adams. Maybe he's doing the Sinister Sons moments in this, because it's about Sinestro and his trainee. Sinestro runs into his son, and Lord Zod. This is Zod's son. That's Sinestro's son. Because Jeremy Adams did the Super Sons animated screenplay, so this is like that's the play on the Super Sons, the Sinister Sons. And so yeah, this was a pretty boring issue. I don't know how else. Yeah, that's it. I mean, but Aquaman was great though. Aquaman's been consistently good. We've got Transformers number 22. I got the Jorge Corona variant cover. I liked it. Yeah, this was the Daniel Warren Johnson cover, the A cover. So this is the B cover, just because I can get a variant cover. Seriously, it was there, and I had my choice. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That's a very fetching variant cover. I like this a lot. This is really cool. Look at that. And as this is wrapping up Daniel Warren Johnson's story, so this is just a piece of the story. It wasn't my favorite single issue, but I mean, there are very few of these Daniel Warren Johnson issues of the Transformers that have been underwhelming or even disappointing. They haven't been usually either. This wasn't underwhelming. It wasn't disappointing. It was just kind of like the Act 2 nadir, Act 3, beginning of Act. It's just like there's This is the anti-penultimate issue. Next, it will be the penultimate issue. And then issue 24 is where he ends his story and hands the pen over to Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora, who come on as the new Battery in issue 25. Looking forward to that. I really am. This is going to, and it's only getting more and more intertwined into the Energon universe and into G.I. playing along with G.I. Joe. Interesting. It really is. And I'm really liking Energon universe. My pick of the week, though, in print comics is Savage Dragon. 277 with the throwback cover parodying a Batman issue with Batman and Robin. It's got a backup tail, Aquaria, and Serena, done in this kind of like Mike Allred kind of style. I thought it was Mike Allred, you know. Thank you. Anti-penultimate. Issue 22 of 24. Yes, I love words. You do too. Captain Infinity's all right, man. Give him a follow on Twitter and ask him about time travel. Trust me, he'll keep you entertained for days. Seriously, he's really good. I like him. I think were we on together an old several years ago now on a Cardinal Sin stream, or was it Clobbering Times? I know I've been with you once or twice on live streams gone by. And if you're an Englishman trapped in the Shire, is it? you live in New Zealand, you know. If memory holds, or it could be a multiverse variant of yourself. It could be time travel involved. This is one of my favorite books. I've never been a Savage Dragon reader. I've started only in the past several months. I think I've got since like issue, only like maybe 4 or 5 issues ago. It's wacky. It's satirical. It's inappropriate. It's ribald. It is deliciously problematic. I love Eric Larson's art, his style here. It's very comic booky. Look at this splash page. Look at the Kirby crackle. Look at the dynamic action. Look at the pose. Look at the musculature. Look at there's not a wasted line in this double page splash. This is beautiful. This is a superhero comic. And look at Eric Larson, his art, this style that he's using now, it's like Frank Miller and Howard Chaykin had a bastard baby. I'm loving it. It is over the top. It plays with the superhero genre and its tropes, and it's really naughty in places too. This is an adult book. This is made for mature audiences. This has adult themes. This pushes boundaries. This is a place where the intersection of real life politics sometimes encroaches into its imaginary play space. Yes, it was Clobby and Friends. Thank you. R.I.P. our friend Michael Alonso. It's been a year where he tragically passed away. I only found out about some of those details that he got mugged because he was found in a parking lot unconscious without his wallet, and they say that he hit his head when he fell. And I'm thinking, did he get? Is that what I'm supposed to unpack out of that? I never heard. This is just what I'm interpreting. Did somebody hit him on his head and it hurt him, and steal his wallet, and left him to die? This is a true story, so I'm sorry if it upsets you. This is our friend Michael Alonso, aka Clobber in Time, who ran a very nice comic book style oriented website and former comic book shop owner and YouTuber. And he gave me my first chances too. Carl Sin and it was the Global Geek Gang was the first regular panel show I was on, talking to other geeks from across the world, and introduced me to basically everyone that I YouTube with. You know, Dwayne Muth says many peaks and valleys since the beginning. It's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's inappropriate. It's not for everyone, and I'm having a lot of fun reading this. It's been like, this is a comic book that I can come back to, and just wow, this is like it's really racy, but I like racy books. I've always liked naughty, well-drawn women and risque poses. It is so, it doesn't make me a bad person, or does it? What did we read this week for Marvel Comics? Let's see. I read Doctor Strange issue 5 of 5. Because the trade paperback is no longer 6 issues, it's 5 issues. And because you can sell it for the same price and save yourself 18 to 20 pages, in every book. And also that goes to, page rates too, for your writer, artist, colorist, and letterer. The current dragon is the sun, right? Savage Dragon moves in real time. Savage Dragon has been moving in real time for close to 30 years, I guess. When did Savage Dragon first appear? Savage Dragon, creator, Eric Larson. The Savage Dragon is the name of 2 superheroes created by Eric Larson, published by Image Comics, taking place in the Image universe. The comic initially follows the adventure of a superheroic police officer named the Dragon. The character first appeared as the Dragon in Graphic Fantasy #1, June of 1982, and first appeared as the Savage Dragon in Megaton #3, February of 1986, before starring as the protagonist of the ongoing comic book series, The Savage Dragon. The Savage Dragon #1 has a cover date of July of 1992. So it's been going on for 33 years have passed in the dragon's life. The dragon's plural. And the dragon is a large, finned, green-skinned humanoid whose powers include super strength and an advanced healing factor. He is also an amnesiac. His earliest memory is waking up in a burning field in Chicago, Illinois. For most of the series, the origin of his powers and his appearance are a mystery to the reader. And then so it goes. And Savage, together with Spawn, Savage Dragon is one of the 2 Image comic titles that debuted during the company's 1992 launch, that continues to be published well into the early 2020s. Spawn is also still in publication as well. And the only one of the 2 that all of its run has been written and drawn entirely by its creator, Eric Larson. And there was an animated series that ran for 2 seasons, 26 episodes on the USA Network. It was The Savage Dragon was listed by Wizard Magazine as the 116th greatest comic book characters of all time. And I'm reading from a wiki because I love to read from wikis. Oh wow, it backfired. Sure, I live in a tough neighborhood now. But Doctor Strange of Asgard #5 of 5 was the best issue in the series because it lands. It ties up all the loose ends. There's no fat to this. It's just like, hopefully that is a bad word. Hopefully it isn't. And 5 of 5 lands the story, and it promises that it will continue in Doctor Strange issue 450. Okay. There were 2 Fantastic Four books that came out this week. And that's good because you have the movie coming out any minute now. It's coming out in a few weeks. It's been a big summer for movies, to be honest. Jurassic World, Superman, and Fantastic Four: First Steps. I mean, remember when this is a big summer movie thing. This is actually pretty interesting. I'm still not going to see Fantastic Four: First Steps. I don't want to. I'm sorry, Pedro Pascal, a bit too much for me. Yeah, I mean, sorry. I mean, don't be a dick. Kind of like a woke nightmare. I mean, it's off-putting. I don't, sorry. But I enjoyed Ryan North and Humberto Ramos's Fantastic Four #1, the most unnecessary issue 1. You're in the middle of the One World Under Doom event, and you are writing not only you are writing that event, you are also writing Fantastic Four. This is Ryan North, and Ryan North has had an interesting Fantastic Four volume. It's okay. I've read a lot of it, and I've been pleased most of the time. And so this one, I think it's just capitalizing on the corporate syzygy with the upcoming movie. And I got to tell you, I love Humberto Ramos's art. I really do. He draws one of my favorite Spider-Men. And I'm so honored to, like, every time I see him at a Boston con, I always go to him and like, Humberto, hi, I'm Eric. Like, you draw one of my favorite Spider-Men. And he's like, oh, no, thank you. He's a Latino guy. I think he might be from Mexico. I think he's Mexican himself. And I was too bashful to to talk to him in Spanish. I'll do that next time. I promise. But it was okay. It really was. And but the whole big hubbub is that it's told by Sue Richards in the narrative caption boxes, which are kind of like it's the whole color coding thing with the narrative boxes, but she says it, I'm the leader, and it's like, oh boy, here we go, girl power. It's like, well, that would be cool if maybe in the next arc Ben's the leader, or in the next arc Johnny's the leader, and you rotate leadership, and each one has their own strengths, their own failures, and they have to and they have their own leadership skill set. That would be interesting if they could do that, if that's where it's going. It's kind of like, I'm the leader this month, and Johnny's going to take charge next month. I would like to see that. I would like to see Johnny Storm surprise everyone with something really clever and really kind of just in character. And that's that, because Dr. Reed Richards has always been Mr. Fantastic, the leader of the Fantastic Four. So this is just more. Is this just more modernity? More yes, Queen, or am I just looking into this too much like a chud? I think it might be a bit of both and none of either. But it was an okay first issue. There was Fantastic Four: First Steps issue #1, one shot, written by Matt Fraction with really great art by Mark Buckingham. They're very movie accurate, so everyone has got likeness rights in this. So it looks like Vanessa Kirby, and it looks like Pedro Pascal on the other two. And it's the Mole Man story. It's a prequel set in universe. It's the official prequel book to First Steps, but it's a Matt Fraction book, and it reads like Casanova, like that jauntiness and that feel for the Silver Age of wonder and wow and pizzazz. It's got that going for it, and it's got a lot of really interesting retro fake ads, and it looks like it's supposed to be a publication from that alternate Earth 1963, wherever this Fantastic Four comes from in the multiverse. Holy shit! I didn't mean to be. We catch up with the chat. JK says, I'm not interested in Fantastic Four. Doesn't look a bit interesting to me. Wayne Muth is right. Ryan North. Kirby, Perez, Byrne, Simonson have very big shoes to fill. We all span different gambits. Love you, memes. The Thing led the Fantastic Four after 300. See, there we go. Yeah. Mark McGrath, hello and welcome. Good to see you. Fantastic Four is one of a bunch of recent books that depict smart characters the way not so smart people think smart people behave. Well put. And Sue takes the lead in Fantastic Four 260. So yeah, I mean, Dwayne, has Johnny ever taken the lead? When's Johnny's time to be like, it just might impress you with something bold or audacious, or maybe just something clever, because he is kind of smart, you know. He's like smart by osmosis. He's a dumb blonde, but he's pretty intelligent, especially when it comes to using his power set. You know, his sister's a scientist, his brother-in-law's a scientist, his father's a scientist. You know, I'm pretty sure that, you know, he's just like, yeah, he's just not living up to his potential. He's just like me and homework. Aww. Let's see. What else did I read out there? Let's see. It's Jeff, the Infinity Pause. It was terrible. And I'm a champion for It's Jeff because it's cute, it's pithy, Pithy. It's I think there's a lot of show don't tell in a Jeff book, but there are literally 21 different pets of Marvel characters, and then you have the owners of the pets show up too. So this becomes a very crowded book very quickly, and it's just like there's just too many Marvel characters, and it's not about like a crisis. It's not a Secret Wars. It's supposed to be fun, but it becomes very crowded very quickly, and it just wasn't enjoyable. It was written by Jason Liu, who's like, he's one of the newer guys in the bullpen, and he writes a lot of cutesy stuff like the Dazzler stuff, so I mean, no thanks. Laura Kinney Wolverine, it was the definition of a standard book. It was, I believe my friend Jim Warner calls it bitch basic. It was pretty cliche, and I'm wondering if this is getting canceled too, because it seems like X books are on the chopping block. Good, because there are way too many, such as Magic #7. It wasn't too bad, and the art really lifted it up, but this Cal Isaacs character is too much like the undead kid in Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men. Design-wise, and with the word balloons being identical, they're black with white text, and it's like, and he's got the same kind of look to it, so it's like, it's not the same character, but it's like they're too much alike. And Tom Brevoort is the editor of Magic, because he's the conductor of X. That's why it says in the credits, Darren Shan is the editor. Noah Sharma is the assistant editor. But do these editors talk? Do they say to Tom Brevoort, hey, we have a nearly identical character than what Gail's doing over on Uncanny? Let's see who's the let's see. So yeah, Tom Brevoort is the editor. It doesn't even say director of X. Tom Brevoort really is. He runs the X office, but he directly edits Gail Simone's Uncanny X-Men. Annalise Bisa is the associate editor, and Lindsay Kohig is the assistant editor. So this is really chick forward here. Uncanny X-Men. Magic #7 though wasn't too bad. The art really elevated what could have been a more mediocre story, and at least it was a decent standalone floppy. Unreadable X-Men. Wade put Johnny in charge of the Future Foundation Corporation during his run with Mike Wieringo. Rest in peace, Michael Wieringo. Also, he really steps up. Right, exactly. Did Mark Waid treat, like, did he kind of treat Johnny like Wally West? Like, is Wally West, like, you got to, like, grow him up a little bit? You know, I mean, Mark Waid, I love his Flash run. Love it. Unreadable X-Men. You got that right, man. I ended up liking the Marvel swimsuit special a lot. Some of the art was outstanding. And it's weird because it does boil down to art and literally classic stuff like pose and physique. And, you know, you're rendering that, you know, with the stylus for a two-dimensional object, you know. But it's so really interesting. It's a swimsuit book. And it's so interesting that even the better artists, they can't draw feet. And they're not even Rob Liefeld. I mean, you know who had the best feet? It was Nick Klein. And he had one. Was it Elsa Bloodstone? No, it was. It was. Oh boy, I'll have to look. The Marvel swimsuit calendar. I'll even show it to you. Oh, the Nick Cassara. Joshua Cassara. Now, Joshua Cassara got around drawing feet by obscuring them. I love Storm, and it's great because they gotta draw butt cheeks and busts and bikinis. And look, Storm is minding her business. And there's Forge behind her, and she puts a little storm cloud over Forge. I just think that's cute. And look, that's the meme. There's Scotty checking out Emma, and there's Jean with the huh. And then look, it looks like there's Kitty and Peter hanging out up here, and there's Bobby, and there's Warren in the back on swinging on a tree on Krakoa. There's Dazzler, and then who's that? Is that Cable? No, is that? I don't know who that is. There's Wolverine, and he's in the nude, and it's Nature Boy, you know. And you have Emma's champagne flute, you know, cleverly hiding his privates. That's the Joshua Cassara, and colored by Marty Gracia. This is the Marguerite Sauvage one, and it's okay. This is the here. He doesn't have to draw feet. Peter's in the pool, and it's cut off at the thigh, at the calf rather. Now that's the Ilsa Bloodstone one. This is really cool. John Tyler Christopher. This is meant to evoke, and it's Jeff. This is meant to evoke the Copper Tone ad from the 70s. It's really cute. And here it is. Oh, it's Valkyrie, and oh Jesus, Doctor Strange, and there's Wolverine, and he's naked again. There's Norrin Rad, and her, and Deadpool in a boat, and here's Hulk about to do a cannonball. Oh, what is Doctor Strange girlfriend? What's her name? Not Christine Palmer. Wife. Clea. Jesus. Wow. Durr. But yeah, I mean, I think that Nick Klein draws the best feet here because they look like feet. I mean, this is like pencils. And Clea looks great. I mean, Valkyrie looks great. I mean, like great hatching. I mean, a nice curvature. I mean, this is great. I mean, like, thank you, Nick Klein. That was my favorite from the Marvel swimsuit edition. I like that. Miles Morales Spider-Man by Cody Ziegler was a snooze fest. Predator Black, White, and Blood was interesting. The 3 stories told in an anthology format where it's supposed to be black and white, but blood in a Predator story is red for a mammal, and it's neon green for the Yawichita, which is the proper alien name for the predator species. Yet the reds and the greens were improperly used. They were used in backgrounds and in everything. So I think I would have been happier if it was just, they were just used for blood. And it would have made more sense, keeping the promise of the title itself. But the stories themselves were pretty strong. It was okay. If you're a Predator fan, you might want to check this out. This will probably collect better as a trade paperback. Red Hulk 6 was great. Ben Percy's on fire with this book. This is the little book that canned. It would be so worthy and interesting if it caught on as an ongoing. I should be paying money for this book. I should be buying this book monthly, and supporting it. There's a Star Wars book. It's called The Legacy of Vader. It's about Kylo Ren between episodes 8 and 9. And it's about, him coping with the legacy of Darth Vader, about, maybe transcending and becoming more feared than him and more powerful than his grandfather, and living up to this, this bloodline thing, or, with the expectation of being Darth Vader's grandson. Well, he's going basically planet to planet in his bloodline. He went to Tatooine and did, and did something with the Hutt traders, with I think it was Gardula the Hutt, who originally had Shmi Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker as slaves and sold them to Watto. And then he goes to Naboo. And in this issue, he goes to Corellia, and to put Corellia under the boot of the First Order. The First Order is encroaching further and further into the core systems. And I believe this is written by Mark Guggenheim. No, it's written by Charles Soule. So Charles Soule is the ace in the bullpen when it comes to Marvel Star Wars. And pretty much Lucas book Star Wars in general, Charles Soule I think he just wrote the last High Republic prose novel. Yeah, me neither. But what I was going to get to, this is a decent Star Wars story. It just has a sequel skin on it. This could have been a decent Star Wars story told in any era. That's Charles Soule has these Star Wars stories in him, and he just put the trappings of the sequel on it. It could have been any era, and you could have just taken, the Kylo Ren out of this one, and you could have put another character in that situation specific of an era, and it's the star, and it would have worked. And it had a pretty decent starfighter battle, and so it was okay. It wasn't. I'm not, freeboard on an airline. Fantastic Four 97 through 500. Wade and Rita Rango. We got a solid rec from Dwayne Muth. Ladies and gentlemen, write that one down. It's a good one. Superior Avengers was pretty okay too. I like the flashback art. The art in it was pretty good. It's a little wordy in places, but we get info dumps on some of these, on Doom's Superior Avengers, and it's between this and Red Hulk. These are the highlights of the One World Under Doom event so far. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #2 was miles above the first issue. Waka. That's co-written by Cody Ziegler and Dennis Camp. Two writers. One writer I won't buy, and my LCS put this in my pull list involuntarily. They'll do that because I have Ultimate Spider-Man on my poll. So they're being proactive, and I asked them to remove it from my poll, and I put it back on the shelf. I'm not going to buy a Dennis Camp book. Yet I like the art in this. It's chock full of hand-drawn onomatopoeia. That's right, hand-drawn sound effects. They're everywhere in this book, and it's very comic-y, very comic booky. The art isn't very fine, but it's very cartoony, and I really appreciate that. And a lot happens in Ultimate Wakanda of the 6160 Earth. And Miles, knows his T'Challa on 616. That's where he got his new outfit from. It's actually laced with vibranium and Wakandan shit. And so it feels like Cody Ziegler took the lead on this issue. It was a lot more enjoyable than the first issue. And Chris Claremont's Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. Oh, it's not that great. This is set between Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, issue 6 from 1984, and Uncanny X-Men 91-92. And so this is like, these books came out about 84, 85 or so, 1984, 1985. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I was completely tuned into the X-Men at that time, buying them monthly, and New Mutants. I did not buy Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, but I read it on the shelves with Ogun and going to Japan. That was really cool. So this is like a sequel to that, written by the same writer. It's such a misfit. Sometimes Marvel is doing some of the best work doing these retconny, dovetailed in stories where it's set between like the Madripoor stuff, or just Rogue the Savage Land, or what Michelini's been doing with Venom Lethal Protector. There's a lot of these different told in the past stories, and then ultimately they work a lot better, I think. This one, not so much. Maybe it's time for Chris Claremont to retire, or I don't know. I don't want to tell someone how to ply his trade, or what stories that a writer has within them that are just bursting to get out. But the Wolverine and Kitty Pryde is a big miss for me. Uncanny X-Men number 17. I like the art, and the story's a little provocative. For pop culture intersections in real life. Is it meta? I mean, I'm not going to give it too much thought because it's a Gail Simone book. And I don't mean to insult her. I mean, I'll let her work stand on its own. I really liked Birds of Prey and The Secret Six way back in the day. That was 20 years ago, though. So, I mean, I don't know. Uncanny X-Men has been miss after miss after miss with me in the From the Ashes era with this writer. And that's all I got this week. Oh, hello. How are you, Mud Boy, Gardener, and Forager? Thank you for loving the spinner rack. I've got we got Superman heavy on the spinner rack this week. Some of the best. That's Busiek and Eminen's Secret Identity. It's a great independent multiversy kind of story. It could be, the ideal Superboy Prime story if the crisis never came. This could have been. It's never stated so, but it's my imagination, because they're all imaginary stories, aren't they? I got Superman Year One on the bottom here, the oversized DC Black Label. It's written by Frank Miller, art by John Romita Jr., inked by Danny Meeke. It's oversized, and it's meant to be the year one of the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns universe, Superman. And yeah, Superman is the movie of the summer, probably the year. Well, let's see what Fantastic Four's got to. Is it clobbering time? Because it is an MCU movie, and it is part. People will go to see that. You think people will go? Kind of like why Captain Marvel was $1 billion. It wasn't because it was a good movie. It was because it was advertised as having connective tissue in the Phase 3 leading up to the Avengers Endgame. All-Star Superman by Frank Whiteley in floppy format. Also, the recent facsimile version of Superman Action Comics 775 by Joe Kelly and Doug Mankey. what's so funny about truth, justice, and the American way. That's all I got. Yeah, we're hitting the 2-hour mark. Thank you, everyone out there in TV land who has tuned in to the Super Sully Sunday stream. If you missed anything, now's your chance to hit rewind and start from the beginning. We talked about the anti-review, spoiler chock full of spoilers, my Superman anti-review. How can I review a movie I didn't even see? Well, you're going to have to tune in and rewind to find out. And we also talked about Samurai Saturdays. It's a thing I have here at Mikasa. We watch samurai movies on Saturdays, and then we review them and talk about them. These are all solid suggestions of cinema, and you should pick up on them. Let me know in the comments section if you are into these Criterion movies, into these samurai movies, if you have any suggestions, especially for samurai movies. And that's about it. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning into the Super Sully Sunday stream. Tomorrow, we have a fresh smoking puck. That's right, my weekly hockey show. And eventually, I'm getting a co-host. It's going to happen. And we're going to find out. You're going to find out more details as they solidify. But we're going to try to do a weekly hockey show. You're hockey fans, and it's Boston-based, and share the love. Maybe get you to get into God's sport. On the 8th day, God was bored, so God created Canadians, and they played hockey. It's the yin and yang of sports, sheer brutality and utter grace and dynamism. And we also have our daily show about gratitude and our gratitude lists. We have a politically incorrect Friday where we get sassy with me being part of the radical far middle, hopefully making fun of both sides. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you next week in those funny pages. Thank you, Pikachu. Take us out.